Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and the Legends, and welcome to this special edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch, where we're going to talk all about Dominaria pricing. Now, last weekend was GP Birmingham, and yes, this was the largest standard tournament since Dominaria has entered the format, and as you can imagine, there's definitely some impact on pricing. There was also a legacy event during the Grand Prix weekend. That was also a very large event. As a matter of fact, one of the cards from Dominaria is being impacted from those results too. I'll let you guess which one. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start off with the top 10 Dominaria cards that have lost value this week. Coming in at number 10, Damping Sphere, down 30 cents to $2.44. Even though this card is going down, it's pretty impressive to me that it is still worth about $2.50. That's pretty crazy considering it's an uncommon and the set's been out for a number of weeks now. However, modern decks are just packing this into their sideboards no matter where you look. And yes, we did expect this, but I do think it will continue to trend down a little bit over the next few weeks as more packs get opened. Number 9, Jaya Ballard, down 30 cents to $5.58. Unfortunately, Jaya just hasn't found a home in Standard or Modern or Legacy, really anywhere when it comes to competitive play. But she does have some possibilities down the road, maybe post-rotation. The problem right now, twofold actually. One of which is just simply she's a better card if you were playing something like a burn build. And right now the red decks aren't doing that. They're playing aggressive creatures more so. Secondly, you have so many good red cards. 3 on color red and then 2. You're asking a lot when you have cards in the format like Goblin Chain Whirler, Rekindling Phoenix, Chandra Torch of Defiance. Like, what do you take out to put something like this in? And right now the answer is nothing. So keep an eye on her. I mean, hey, you can pick this card up. It's still a very powerful Planeswalker for around $5 or so. Maybe you grab some copies for the future just in case something happens later on in Standard, or else just to have for casual play. Number 8, Traxos Scourge of Krug, down 42 cents to $1.32. Unfortunately, this card is just too inconsistent for competitive play at this point. And you just don't want to throw this out on the battlefield and cross your fingers and hope you can untap it. It's just not good enough. Could be a fine casual card, though. Another cheap pickup. Number 7, Daragaz Reincarnated, down 45 cents to $2.02. Now, in the future, maybe post-rotation again, this could perhaps be an interesting reanimation target. I just don't think the meta's there right now. Aside from that, this is a casual card, something you might throw into your Commander Dragon deck, for example. And it's another real cheap pickup. Number 6, Shalai Voice of Plenty, down 49 cents to $4.28. A week ago at the Star City Games events, this card looked like it was gaining some momentum. Last weekend, though, at GP Birmingham, it looked like it was losing momentum. The biggest obstacle right now for this card was the fact that the Historic deck did not put up any good results at the tournament. There were no copies in the top 32, which is kind of crazy. Now, with that deck not performing well, this card definitely takes a hit. Even though it is seeing play in some other places in Standard, like Legends decks or Tokens decks, without the support of the Historic deck doing well, this card is going to lose a lot of value quickly. There are some Modern decks trying to use it. Probably the most successful has been Death and Taxes, although Counters Company, sometimes people have been trying to work it in there, or even Elves. I've even seen some Legacy decks trying to work one of these in, so there is some potential for the future. This is definitely one to keep an eye on. Number 5, Thran Temporal Gateway, down 53 cents to $1.34. I don't know if I mentioned last week, but I did see a Legacy Eldrazi deck running one of these. Don't know if that will pan out or not. However, it's still a really good Commander card and another very affordable one. Number 4, Muldrotha the Gravetide, down 64 cents to $7.01. Speaking of good Commander cards, this is one of the best you'll find in the set. A number of weeks ago when this card was previewed, many Commander players saw this and decided, you know what, I need a copy of this to build around. Since then, it has maintained a pretty decent price point, and as a matter of fact, a lot of older Magic cards that play well with this also have spiked. It appears that the supply is starting to catch up with the demand as the Commander players are getting their hands on the copies and more packs are getting open, so that's good news for anyone who has not bought it yet. I might wait a few more weeks, perhaps you can eventually grab this for closer to $5 or so. It will be a good Commander pickup, no doubt. Number 3, History of Benalia, down 75 cents to $22.20. This card's seen a lot of play the first few weeks of Standard. Because of that, it's had a pretty nice price point. But a few things are happening now. First off, more packs are being opened, so that's going to soften the value a little bit. Secondly, if you look at the results from GP Birmingham, this card looked pretty good in those control builds, of course, out of the sideboard, typically. However, the dominant deck of the weekend was black-red aggro builds, a lot of them running vehicles like Heart of Kirin or Aethersphere Harvester. So those decks got a lot of attention last weekend. Some of these builds with the white cards fell off the radar, at least slightly. Now, aside from the control decks that looked pretty good last weekend, this is still kicking around in other places too. The historic deck, which again maybe didn't do so great last weekend, but also tokens decks and white-black vehicles decks and such. So this is one that's still going to be strong, but I do think it trends down, at least slowly in the coming weeks. It might have a bounce-back week, though, during the Pro Tour, like many cards will. Lyra, Dawnbringer, down $2.30 to $30.99. So Lyra comes in at number 2. This has been another really strong white mythic card in the set. And that isn't changing, but it is very soft this week, again, because there was less of a presence from white in this particular tournament last weekend. Now, we'll have to see if that's a trend that continues, or if things start to stabilize out as people will be more prepared to deal with some of these black-red aggro builds. Number 1, Mox Amber, down $2.31 to $19. So this is the card that's dropping the most again this week. And yeah, it hasn't really done a lot in Standard. I have seen some modern decks trying to make this work, mostly aggro decks that are either white or Boros colors. We'll have to see. I do think eventually someone figures out what to do with this card, though. Alright, let's move on to the top 5 Dominaria cards that have gained value this week. And we're only doing 5 instead of 10 because the set is stabilizing nicely. There's a few big cards that are still going up. We'll look at those in just a few moments. But I looked at all the numbers, and once you got to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they were only moving by 2 or 3 cents. So I figured, let's just cut right to the important cards. Coming in at number 5, Woodland Cemetery at 14 cents to 4.48. This has been a fantastic part of mana bases for a few really strong decks like Constrictor, as well as the Green Vehicles deck and the Green Stompy deck. Even the mono green decks are running Scrap Heap Scrounger or trying to put maybe some black removal cards out of the side. So this card has been perfect for those builds. Number 4, Seal Away, up 16 cents to 146. We saw a lot less Seal Away at GP Birmingham, considering how much we saw the first couple weeks at the Star City Games events. However, this is still a core part of that control build in Azorius colors, which is very popular. Still did well last weekend. And it is very impressive to see, after the set's been out all these weeks, that an uncommon can still be going up by 16 cents. That says something. Number 3, Goblin Chain Whirler, up 61 cents to 5.55. This card had a huge weekend. Only one card that we'll talk about surpassed it, and we'll see that in just a few moments. You can probably guess what it is. But this card was everywhere, it felt like. Those black-red aggro builds, whether you consider them vehicles or aggro decks or what have you, guess what? It's running these. The mono-red aggro running these. Mono-red gift is still kicking around, even though it didn't put up a big result last weekend. And actually, we saw some Grixis decks bringing back the Scarab God, running Chain Whirlers. A lot going on with this card right now. Good thing this is a rare, not a mythic, like some of the other cards we've seen today that's keeping the price a little softer because there's more copies out there for players. However, I do think this continues to go up over the next few weeks. Number 2, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, up 88 cents to 39.10. A lot of cards we've been looking at today that have been successful in the first couple weeks got a little bit softer as more packs got open and there's been more dominance from black-red decks. However, this card is still going strong, mostly due to its participation in the blue-white control builds. Now, like some of the other cards we saw today, this is also in historic decks and some mid-range decks, some other places too. But really, it's being pushed forward right now thanks to control. Number 1, was there any doubt? Karn Scion of Urza, up $11.93 this week to $68.67. This is insane. So first off, I'll cut to the chase. Standard, Karn's everywhere. Because Karn can fit into any deck, he's pretty much showing up in any deck. That includes aggro builds, control builds. You'll find this in vehicles, historic, stompy decks, mid-range, you name it. Karn is there, and Karn is making all those decks better. So, okay, it's a standard staple, but maybe the big surprise this weekend for some was how quickly it adapted into Legacy in a major tournament. The Legacy event at GP Birmingham had 2 decks running Karn in the top 8. The first place deck was running 2 Karns. That was a mono-red prison deck in the main. Now, there's another deck in the top 8, a Steel Stompy deck, running a couple out of the side. Now, that's pretty impressive that this card has already found a foothold in a powerful format like Legacy. Modern players also finding some stuff to do with it, as this card is showing up in more and more affinity builds. That is what's been driving the price here. A lot of cross interest among different types of players. And that's why you have a standard card pushing the $70 mark at this point. Now, I do think that's a ceiling for the card. 70 is pretty high considering the amount of packs that are being opened right now. So this will stabilize and come down. It could have another big weekend, though, the first weekend of June during the Pro Tour, because a lot of people who maybe weren't paying attention for some reason will definitely notice when they see the pros playing the card. But it might get a jump there. But for the most part, I would expect this to start trending down. Unless I needed the card to play like this weekend or something, I would wait until mid to late June probably to pick these up at least, because they will be stabilizing. It's just going to take a little more time for more packs to get open, for the scramble to end and all these players to get their copies, and then you'll see some softening happening. And as a matter of fact, I would assume that this goes down a little bit over the course of the next couple of weeks, at least leading into the Pro Tour. So that's where we're at with Karn. It's pretty nice to see some of the other cards stabilizing, though, even though this one is just going through the roof. Alright, that's where we are right now with Dominaria. I hope you found that helpful. Tomorrow, if there's no news to report, we're going to come back with another special edition of the Market Watch where we're going to talk about some undervalued cards. And then on Friday, that's announcement day. We're going to talk about the announcements, and there might also be some Battle Bond cards. Next week will be Battle Bond Preview Week, so we'll definitely be talking a lot about those cards next week. Saturday, regular Market Watch, so there's a lot going on. But until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.